I'm so sorry. There was a little crisis with my son.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you for having on.
And lots of snot on my shirt at the last minute. I was on my way here, and then I realized that would not look good.
I'm sure we all can relate to that.
I thought so.
So welcome to our call. We're so excited that you're here, Isabelle. You are like, I mean, I was like nervous getting on tonight. I'm like, oh my God, like I'm interviewing her.
That is so odd to me, but I'm not actually. I've learned to be so humble in these calls, and that to me, it's like a bunch of friends, and we're just chatting away. And sometimes I know the answers, and sometimes I don't. And when I don't, I write it down, and I usually come back with a good answer. Or sometimes I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say, what I'm not allowed to say. So then I stay safe, and then I go back to our legal team and R&D team, and I get the appropriate answer, and so it goes. So it's just, we're just friends here in a way, right?
Yes, thank you. We have 3 teams on tonight. It's Wild Impact with Shane Fryer and Candace Talbot's team, Fit Mama. So, so we're all going to kind of hop in and ask a couple questions and see how it goes.
By the way, I had one question. I think Sandy talked to somebody and let somebody know the last question about the quarter leading up to the 80-day obsession. I literally know nothing about that business aspect of the Beachbody platform, like zero knowledge. I'm very focused in my territory. And so I can't help you there. I don't even know what that is.
That's okay. It's totally okay, because we have a question that you will be able to answer, because
I hope
tonight we're talking about the ultimate reset, guys. This has been like a life-changing thing for me and for so many of my coaches, just like not being able to get over a plateau or feeling really yucky no matter what they did. And once they did the reset, like everything, like the heavens opened up.
There's so much I'm not allowed to talk about. We've been slapped of all the stuff that you're allowed and not allowed to talk when it comes to these kind of programs. So I will go as far as I can go. And then if I can't really go somewhere with you, if there's more questions coming, I will, urge you to Google and look into things. So I hope that the questions that you do have, I can provide all the answers.
That sounds good. So the first one was like, why did you develop the Ultimate Reset?
Oh, that's a good one. Yes. Well, there's a lot of whys, but really confusion in people's mind and fear in people's heart about their health, in the unknowing of why they feel the way they feel at times. So my goal with the Ultimate Reset was to bring simplicity, clarity, and give the body a chance to let you know what it is that's going on, so that you're not at the mercy of what's written about detox, about what to do, what not to do. I feel the same way about diet plans nowadays. So my goal with the Ultimate Reset was to find something that was a common denominator for every human. So it was designed between Darren and I and our team. And what is it that we all need, that we may be missing, in order to bring the sort of osmosis, it's called in English, osmeo. Do you know what I mean? Sort of the neutral, zero place. There's a good word. Osmosis,
right?
Osmosis of the body. So that was my point. Like, what is it that we know is not good for us, and what is it that most of us, whatever our belief system is when it comes to food and diets, and God knows there's so many nowadays, what is it that we would all agree on? And that was absolutely my goal. Now, underneath all that is the desire. It's not quite as obvious, but to me it's perhaps even more real. So just like exercise is and food is a tactile way to get us to be at peace with our body and our mind and our heart, same thing with this program. Underneath it, I wanted to empower the individual in figuring out what were the things that they were using through food to numb out or distance themselves from what really hurt. So there's a reason why an individual will reach out for a certain type of food at 10 every night. Or, the behaviors abound in how we learn to numb or to camouflage deep unprocessed feelings that were the first disconnect moments, whether it was very young or later on in life. We reached out, because we're talking about the ultimate reset, but it could be reaching out for alcohol, drug, sex, movies, books, like the way of escaping our feelings that are not that comfortable. They're all over the place. But right now we're going to deal with food, which most of us reach for. We are learning early on, here you're sad, let me give you a cookie. Like, that's the most basic ones, and nobody's to be vilified here. I know that I find myself, not anymore as much, but early on I was like, oh, because I breastfed my boy, but it doesn't matter whether it's bottle or breastfeeding. We nurture them. We cuddle them and nurture them with our milk. And so giving food to a boo-boo, right, to what hurts, is almost a natural thing. But the breast milk, or whatever formula you deem best, was healthy, right? And then we lose the track of that is something that the baby's body needed, as opposed to the donuts at 10 p.m. we don't need. So underneath the ultimate reset was a system to slowly eliminate these crutches, but without having to hit you on the head with it, by utilizing the body's wisdom. So by eliminating all the kind of stuff that we know is not good for us, so processed food, cigarette, coffee in terms of acidity, or utilizing, for me it's much more making people aware, hey, how much energy do you have in the morning when you get up if you don't have your coffee? If you're flat out and you've got zero energy, something's up. Yes, the coffee may help you every single morning, but you're not going to the root of what sapped your energy. And to me, that's important. Whatever it is that you take, it cannot replace a certain level of energy that should have bond within you to a certain degree naturally. Or understanding that there is good reason to ingest more food at times because you're nursing maybe a kid, the other one is 3, you're working, you're cleaning the house, all that stuff that saps, even nursing takes a lot of energy out of you. So being at peace with food, but through eliminating the garbage, eliminating the crutches, bringing you down to bare minimum, somehow the unconscious go-to that you may have had is not available, because you got a very simple, clear way of going about this system that took away slowly these crutches. Also, going back to the body itself, just eliminating anything that is very challenging to digest. Just giving the body a sort of time period to relax a little bit, because the body works in English? 24/7. So the body is constantly at work. So it's also part of the program is to just lighten the load, just giving the body time to chill. Also, the body most of the time is not hydrated enough. I am guilty of that. That is my biggest one when I do the ultimate reset, is constantly being reminded I do not drink enough water. So it's a big one it's a simple one that most of us do not adhere to, that is crucial to feeling well and to processing the nutrients that you ingest. So adding these elements and that are beneficial to most of us regardless of what kind of diet you believe you should be on, what kind of food you should not be eating, um, and and taking away and adding, yes, and taking away that which we would all agree is not good for us, creating a system that takes away your crutches. And there was something else in there. I'm get to it if I don't get to it now. Yeah, and the emotion that will arise. So very often the emotion that arises are the very emotions that you did not allow yourself to feel. Um, and so giving yourself a chance to feel what needs to be felt, without guilt, without shame, with compassion, and learning to be kinder. So there is no exercise, because this process, once, as you know, once you really do it, is extremely demanding. There's letting go on the physical and emotional level. The psychological body is also being asked to watch and understand what's going on, whether you want it or not, because you don't need a high IQ for this. It's just observing what's going on. Are you aggravated, or are you angry, or are you sad through it? Or, oh, look at that, I'm really craving this and this right now. So it's a simple thing that most of us would probably agree upon, that I wanted, no politics in it. Just pure, basic, simple truth. And that's the fourth element, giving power back to you in deciding what is good for you and what is not good for you, which may help you in the future to choose what kind of diet, if there must be a diet to be chosen, what will fit you best. Because once you eliminate and you do your process, and then you have the reintegration of the food, so you reintegrate grains and beans, and then dairy if you wish, and then animal meat if you wish. And so when you reintegrate things, you can see, oh, I'm reacting to this. We simplified your diet, so you will add many more things as well, because it's a simplified diet. So you will notice which one bloats you. So you didn't have a weight problem of 5 extra pounds perhaps. You just needed to drink more water, and you had a reaction to this particular element that you didn't know because you had it your whole life. Or your body was numbed or inefficient, so the communication between you and your body was muddled. Also, fifth element, bringing elements that you may never have heard of, ingredients, food that you may never have wanted to try, were against it in your mind, or just, I don't want to try that, or stuff that you may never know about. So try to incorporate new food so that your diet will be more diversified afterward, which is an important aspect of health. Diversified food, different colors. So this little speech is pretty much what it's all about. And then we can go deeper in each aspect. But it's that simple. I didn't want to be all crazy with this one, but to me, it's the most efficient one. It goes to the core of what creates challenges in us, whether it's emotional and what you reach for in order to soothe that, whether it's a habit that was unknown, or whether it was consciously thinking you were in a great diet, but you didn't realize that you had a reaction to soy or to almond or to cottage cheese, whatever. It's not vilifying a whole diet. It's finding out exactly what's going on. And also often, if you give a break, 3 to 6 month break, let's say cottage cheese, you may find that twice a week you can reintegrate cottage cheese, and you're okay because your system is functioning better. We load our bodies with lots of what's the word? Coffee, excess sugar, excess salt, excess food in itself, a lot of excesses. And it's very difficult on the body. Once you learn what it's like not to put that in your system, it feels quite good. So it makes you a better, more conscious human being. If you didn't realize that you reach for a certain food when you feel a certain way, it's an incredible empowerment tool to suddenly be watching yourself do it and like, oh, I get it. And then there's a beat there. You may choose to not do that anymore as often as you can make that decision, or you may choose to go ahead anyway. But once you know, you're doomed. You will know forever. It will be very hard to go back to pure unconsciousness. So I wanted to empower the individual through that, because my goal when I talk about health, it's not perfection of the way your body looks. It's feeling well, it's having clarity and having consciousness so that you fall in love with yourself as a conscious human being, as a miracle of life. The fact that this body does all that it does is an unbelievable thing. And the power that created that body is the power that created your consciousness. It's consciousness. It's a miracle that we still don't know what the heck it's all about. Once you realize that that's the beginning of each one of us, that's the oneness that everybody talks about, you have a way to fall in love with yourself that has nothing to do with the shell. I'm fat, I'm not muscular, my butt is not high enough, my tricep is not whatever that shoe horse thing is. Like the judgment, the harshness of our judgments are as destructive, if not more, than the donut you eat. Because the harshness of not liking yourself is what makes it okay for you to put toxins and poison in your body. If you care deeply, not wanting to look hot and sexy, or even though you're 60, trying very hard to be 25, it's accepting this beautiful machine of yours because you know who you are underneath it. So this miracle that created it, you suddenly realize that's who you are. You fall in love with that miracle, and suddenly you want to take care of it. That's the whole point. Health is not just what you eat, how much you eat, what diet, vegan, not vegan. It has nothing to do with that. The deep meaning of health is the coherence, the congruency between that mind, that heart, and the body. It's that it's all one, all that. It's not connected. It's the same. So the way you feel about yourself would create behaviors that are harmful to yourself. But if you value that miracle that you are, you may not feel so inclined to destroy it. Because there's a reverence now toward what it is. And in it, in every cell of this body, is consciousness. We don't know what that is, but it's quite miraculous. And so you honor that. So for me, whether it's Shakeology, the Ultimate Reset, the 3-day refresh, how can I help people take care of themselves through being more aware and more conscious and nourishing themselves, not judging and putting themselves in a harsh mold of how many calories and how much I should weigh. And that's okay. Each one of us will have to live through and make their own choices. But my role in that, what I feel comfortable bringing forth, birthing through the help of Darren and the team, and of course the platform that Carl created, the Beachbody platform, is to create vital, radiant, more empowered, more conscious, more aware individual that will verbally treat each other better. They will not, as an MLM, people that are sharing that consciousness and that health and how good they feel through sharing, purely sharing, not force selling. And through that, living it. This is why we do ask for you to experience, whether it's Shakeology or the workout or the 21-day fix or insanity, whatever it is on that platform that you choose, because something in you tells you that's what I need. It's about this living it, having a truthful sense of it, and then you can share. So that the ultimate line on the Beachbody platform is what I'm comfortable sharing, because it fits how I deal with my body and with myself. So it's rare that I get to talk about the Ultimate Reset. The Ultimate Reset program on Beachbody is not as sexy as other programs. There's nothing easy about it. And I refused, and I've had many requests to change it, make it easier, allow exercise. I've had a lot of pushback on that one because our coaches are very strong with their habit of exercising, which I think is great. but there was a purpose why there was no exercise, because it's very demanding for the body to do the 3-week reset all by itself. And second, are you addicted to exercise in a way that you are not dealing with your feelings? So yes, you can walk, you can do a swim, you can do a little bit of light yoga, you can do breathing exercise, you can stretch, but I'm asking you not to do your exercise program, because I want to see, is it a healthy, beautiful part of your life, or are you addicted to it in a way that you suppress emotions and you work them out? Now, you may disagree with me. There, you don't have to do the reset the way I designed it with Darren and the team. I designed it that personally because I've done so many detoxes. I know how demanding it is emotionally and physically. I'm tired and I don't have the energy, and I want all my energy to be focused. Nobody goes into the P90X and say, can I do insanity at the same time and eat like a bird at the same time, because that's how I want it. Everybody says, well, that's how Tony told me to do it, and I'm going to stick to that to see if I get results. And yet, I have been asked over and over again, can you do this? Can you take that out? Can you add this in? And it made me laugh, because they don't mind going insanity crazy, but oh my God, ask them to stop working out or stop eating the way they're used to eating, or having a diet that's different than what I'm asking them to do. That freaked most of the coaches out, but that was the purpose. That was a goal. What is that about? So even if you never decide to do it, the fact that you're freaking out so much about the ultimate reset, little 3-week reset. You chill, you walk, you do a different kind of diet, but everybody's scared because intuitively, you know, there is something in there that is so true, so deep, and so profound that you are, even before you start, you are not giving me and Darren and the team what you're giving Shanti and Tony, because you're so scared. And it's profoundly telling and endearing and powerful. And so that's my big speech, because I don't get to talk about the reset often. So it was a pleasure when I saw that today the ultimate reset was the thing. I was so pleased because I am so, so, so proud of this program. So, okay, that's my long answer.
So, Isabelle,
that was amazing.
Thank you for that. This is Jane Fryer. Thank you so much for being here. We have another question on the reset.
Yes.
So what are some of the supplements we should use regularly, not just while on the reset, and why? And then a second part, how many times a year can you do it?
I cannot answer to can you do it, because at the end of the day, it's a very personal choice. It is a very personal choice when it comes to the ultimate reset. You will see how you go through it. You will see what happens to you. How well do you handle it? How much gratitude do you get out of it and results? How do you feel afterward? What decisions do you make after you do it? Do you go right back to whatever? The need may be more greater because of those decisions, or the need may be just once or twice a year. So for me personally, I can answer that, is once or twice a year is pretty much all I do. And one of the reasons is through the course of my life, my diet has gotten cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. And beyond that, my emotional awareness has gotten better, for lack of a better word. I'm not saying I'm perfect here. I'm just saying, because it's my passion, that congruency I was talking about, that's my passion. So it involves the body, the heart, and the mind, my spirituality. So once or twice a year is pretty much all I feel I need. Now, I have to say that I have done so many detoxes in 20-something years before the ultimate reset. I have tested and tried so many things. Some were not that great, some were fantastic, some were too much. I've learned my lessons. So I have done it over and over and over again until I settled. My self-worth was stronger. My self-understanding was stronger. I understood food is definitely not a crutch in my world. So it is a beautiful thing that I honor. I pray over it. I listen to my body. I'm not on a diet. I pay great attention, and I reach for that. But it took me a very long time to get that intuitive sense of myself. But it's a great freedom. No more rules. But at the same time, I never reach out with crap. Like, I will never reach out for crap. And when I try it, my mind tells me, oh, that sounds like it'd be so fun. And I have a bite or two, and I cannot help but taste the chemicals and hot, or if it's high sugar, my body, So it depends how the ultimate reset affects your life and what choices you make after that. But I think that if you were to Google it, they would say at least twice a year, maybe 4, but twice a year, the change of season, I think. And then what was the other question? Oh, the supplements.
Yeah.
Yes. Which
Okay.
ones can you use?
Yes. You're going to think I'm trying to sell you. I'm really not. You can do this reset. You cannot do this reset. It's all good. I respect everyone with their own choices of what feels right to them, but it is my ultimate truth right here. I swear on my son's head, I use them all the time, except for the detox aspect. Now, let me explain that, and you'll see that it's probably true. When do you not need, when you look at the products that I was involved in, Shakeology, the 3-day refresh, the ultimate reset, Daily Sunshine, the latest one. Okay, you can see that I believe in prebiotic, probiotic, digestive enzymes, deep greens, antioxidants, phytonutrients, mineral, Himalayan salt. I use it all the time. I use Himalayan salt everywhere. I think that's it. I even used some of the stuff that is in the detox regularly in my diet because I think it's good for certain aspect of my health that I'm not allowed to go deep into. But so I utilize all these regularly in my diet every day. That is part of how I eat. That is what feels good to me. So I use them all except the detox. Because can you argue Himalayan salt, minerals? Can you argue greens, antioxidants, phytonutrients? Can you argue, just go ahead and Google it, prebiotic, probiotic, digestive enzymes, fiber. Can you argue that most agency will say that's all good for you? I don't think so. So here I am. So this is why, again, it goes back to my beginning speech, right? I try to look for what do we all need and what do we all have a hard time incorporating in our diets, whether it's because we just can't stand it, whether it's because we think it's not worth it with the money, whether it's because you're in a cold country like my parents where it's very hard to get green veggies and things like that, or whether it's because you really don't know about them. You don't understand how vital it is to your health, and i.e. water. Cheap, but most of us don't understand how dehydrated we are every day. So this system is really a system incorporating all these aspects plus the detox to help support your body, the stress on your liver, to your liver, little organ that works so very hard, to clean up, all that is not enhancing for you. So those are the elements that I put in a different format, in a detox format, done in a very specific way in order to help your body let go. But those same elements are in the Shakeology. So, but in a different way. So they're there on just like a vitamins. They're just there because it's good for you. We should all have that every day. It used to be hundreds of years ago that it's true that your food had so much of it, and if you ate perfect every day, you could get stuff like that on your plate, a big nice plate of healthy meal. I'd like to know how many of you do that regularly all the time. But I was just reading a thing, but I won't get into that. But we know now the soil, and therefore what grows out of the soil, is so depleted that even the ratio of mineral vitamins within the food, many food, is just not the same. And we still don't understand the consequences that will have on our health. If the greens don't have the kind of minerals vitamins ratio that it used to have. The fact that the oxygen is not what it used to be, all that has an effect on our health. So nowadays, being conscious, you may disagree or agree, but trying to find as much understanding and consciousness of what's going on in here and what's going on out there, and then you make your choice consciously of what you want to empower yourself with, what tools make sense to you to live a healthy life.
Okay, so I guess I'm up next. This is Candace. Thank you so much for doing this for us tonight.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Am I babbling way too much?
No, we could hear you talk. We love just learning about, when you speak, you start to really have an appreciation, more of an appreciation for our company and the values that we have behind the products, the ingredients, the lifestyle. I mean, it goes so deep, like so much deeper than a workout program, than Shakeology. It's like this, I love this. And I personally did the reset 2 years ago, and so many people had told me, it was the best thing I ever did, best program. And when I did it, I said, all right, I'll do it. I did it with my mother. And when I was done, I felt so incredible. And I realized that and it's funny because now as I hear you talk, I'm going, yes, that's exactly how I felt. I felt very like even keel, I felt so stable, all
amazing.
the foods that I wanted to go for before, I wasn't going for them. And when I reintroduced red meat, I was just like, I just wasn't feeling it. So,
and by the way, I'm not trying to tell people, I don't know if other aspect of the Beachbody Machine talks about that more, but I'm not trying to turn anybody into vegan. I have nothing, it's really not, like I said, no politics in here. I want you to decide what feels. I want you to get back to that place that you discussed, because most people don't even know what that feels like ever in their whole lives. So once you have that ground zero, then you have a sense of what works, what doesn't work, and then you choose, who am I to tell you not to have red meat, whether it's because of a political, ethical, but people can come back and say the Indian ate meat, and the debates go on and on. I don't want to get into the debates, but I do want you guys to have a chance to feel what that ground zero feels like, and to see that perhaps overconsumption more than what is what's going on, perhaps quality and density of nutrients, even in the meat. Even if you choose to eat meat, is it an animal that's farmed with hormones and pesticide and herbicide in its body? Once you eat that body, you're eating that as well? Or are you going to do like the Indian? They were clean back then, right? And they prayed and they thanked Mother Nature for that life that was given for their lives. There was a gratitude there and an appreciation and health, which is lacking nowadays. So very often, these are the ground zero moments that I want people to have. So maybe once you don't have these pesticide and herbicide or as much of chemical stimuli, artificial coloring is a great stimulus on your body. This is why kids that have ADHD will react to candies and things like that. Not only the sugar, but all the toxins in it are highly stimulating to your body, but it is to us as well. So you might choose to go for a meat that's cleaner if you decide to have meat. But it's not a political program.
Well, we were talking, Tara and Shane and I, and we were discussing, doing the ultimate reset between, as teams, between October 31st and Thanksgiving, because we felt like, and we wanted your opinion. The question is, how do you feel like doing the ultimate reset would benefit us, not just the coaches, but our customers, etc., leading into the holiday season?
Well, just so you know, I'm speaking personal opinion here. I'm not sure who else in the company would like my answer, but it's always an answer that will be honest for me. I'm going to ask several questions and you have to find what's true for you. So if that period of the time is highly stressed for you. That somehow you're the kind of person who waits at the last minute for everything, for the holidays, and then you're going to be stressed and running around like crazy. It can be or too much to try to do this, live the emotional roller coaster that it may or may not bring, or it may be the exact thing you need to ground you to the soil, ground you and make you see behavior. Oh my God, I really don't need to stress that hard about this because right now I just can't do it. So suddenly the behavior that you thought you had to show or be or feel, because that's what you've always done. If you do the ultimate reset through that period, you may like not have the energy to indulge in it. And suddenly you're like, wait a second, I can not indulge in that even when I'm not on the ultimate reset. You see what I mean? So depending on the kind of person you are, that's a question to ask you. What challenge do I want to take on? Do I want to try to do this? And so I am challenging myself not to do the same old in a time where it can be highly stressed. Or am I the kind of person who will stop and go, and because this is from the get-go, I'm not really committed. You've got to be committed. So again, I'm very bad at, oh, it's bad, oh, it's good. I'm very bad at that. So I'm terrible for PR, but I really am. But my answer to you is that what is the most valuable? So if you're going to do it in that period of time, that's a good question to ask you. Does that have value for me? Which scenario has value for me? Do I rather go on with the craziness in the thing because at least I understand, I'm familiar with that pattern? Or do I want to challenge myself? Because you will be challenged. When most people tend to indulge way before Christmas or the holiday prior to that, Thanksgiving, and even before Thanksgiving, are you ready? For me, that's the kind of stuff I live for. I love nailing myself to the cross. I really do. I really do. My whole life I've been like that. So for me, it's like, oh, bring it on. Let me see if I can do this. Because if I can do this now, I can do this anytime. So it depends what you want to. Second, some people really tend to behave in very unhealthy way through that period and gain a lot of weight and indulge a lot. So it would be an amazing thing to do to help your body for once to not go into that period, but give yourself a good 2 weeks or a week and a half. I would say a week and a half after the ultimate reset to gradually bring the food back into your system before you start indulging, if you want to start indulging. I'm hoping that if you do that you will not indulge the same way, or that even when you reach for those kind of food, you will have the reaction from it will be very real and very clear. You'll be like, wow, I've been doing this every year of my life and 10 times more, and unaware of how difficult it was for my system to deal with all that. So I think it's fantastic as a Virgo. If I was to label myself, I love these kind of challenges. I love to wake up. I don't like to be unconscious, unaware, asleep. I've been very, very, very sick and very scared, and it had changed my life for the better. So for me, health is unbelievably important on all levels. I do not want to be an emotional crippled person if I can help it. I do not want to be a psychological, harmful, aggressive person to myself or others if I can help it. I do not want to harm my body if I can help it. I don't indulge in the holidays. I don't change my eating habits at all. It literally makes no sense to me. Now, I totally get it. Like I have a little boy who's 9 and his friends, and I'm teaching him, what can you handle? What can you not handle? Look how you feel a few hours after. I'm teaching him, but I'm letting him indulge and enjoying the holidays and stuff. I see the fun in it. I totally do. I'm just expressing me. If I feel like chocolate at any time of the year, I have chocolate. I don't wait for certain events to tell me now I'm allowed to have chocolate. I like clean chocolate. I like raw cacao. I like it organic cane sugar, not white sugar, because I understand how destructive it is to my system. So I indulge differently, but I do it when I feel like doing it. Sometimes I have a certain meal that's unorthodox for me. Like it's just like, wow, look what I'm craving. And I do it and I have it and it feels good and my body feels good. And then I don't want it anymore. And so, it's a very personal thing. And this is why I love the ultimate reset. It's the ultimate reset. It is your reset. You will discover when you want to do it, how it affects you, what you get from it, and what are your choices afterward. So to me, all power to you if you want to do it to try to help your body be in a cleaner place to deal with the insanity of what happens sometimes through the holidays. I'm definitely not a person who wants to stifle your fun of food, of enjoying a good cake, enjoying a good meal. I think you should be able to do that as well. And it's also why the ultimate reset is beautiful. It helps your body reset. It makes it a better machine to deal with the indulging moments, which you should have if you feel like having them, but you're conscious, you're awake, you're aware, you understand the impact, the why. It's not automatic anymore. You're not oblivious to it anymore. You're not controlled by it anymore. And then it's more fun. It's so much more fun when things don't control you, whether it's exercise, food, movies, books, parties, anything that controls you is not okay. It's a good idea to pause and see what that's about. And when you free yourself from that, you can reach out for your book. You can go to the movies. You can have a good cake. You can exercise and have your healthy exercise program, all that stuff, but it doesn't control you. You're an awake being making aware choices. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I think that was perfect. And I remember, what you said about doing the reset. I remember before I did mine, I was craving all of these foods. And when I was going through it, it was so freeing not to go for those. And I actually felt like my body was for once functioning like it should be.
Yeah.
And after that, it just snowballed. And then that's when I started researching more about nutrition. And, and I find with my customers when they're struggling with, having those habits that you talked about, the late night habits, and to break those with the ultimate reset, that is what it does.
Yes. Amen to all this. And also, I've worked with a lot of people with eating disorder as well. Whatever they are, they all stem from an emotional suppression of emotions, lack of self-worth, and the belief that they can't do it, or they're not enough to do it. And so it's a system. I'm trying to put it in a system so that it's words and it's a book and it gives you the food so that at least you don't have to try to figure it out. It gives you a way. This is what we need you to do. And you can hold on to that truth while you're on that system to allow yourself to see one more page, day 2, day 3. And if you just stick to the day-to-day, moment-to-moment, it gives you power. It makes people aware that indeed they can. So eating disorder, very often it's a lack of self-worth, of thinking you're not good enough for anything. You're completely disempowered toward that food, whatever that behavior is. And so going through that, this is why it can be so exhausting. If you have a need to indulge more at a certain time at night and suddenly you're done with your thing, but we write you can have more of the food that is allowed. You can have more of that if you need to. It won't satisfy the crazy stimulating kind of food that you would want, but still you can have more, but also you can observe. Whoa. And it's like a wave. It will pass. It lasts. Whoosh, and it goes. And if you give yourself a chance to observe that, holding on to your process a day at a time, these waves pass. So you can look at it and say, whoa, okay, I didn't indulge, I didn't reach, I'm okay, I'm still here. Let me breathe, let me take a walk, let me oxygen my brain now, and observing self-worth one day at a time, so that you can indeed be an observer to those behaviors that possessed you, that became, you thought you were it, that those behavior were who you are. I'm a loser, I can't help it, I can't do, none of that is true. Those are all harsh, judgmental thoughts that are more difficult to digest than any food you could possibly ingest. So the system is about that as well. I love this program, and it's not the one that makes the most amount of money for Beachbody. Thank God it's still there. It's still there, but because enough of you do it. And it's there. Call new. That would not be a bestseller. This is not about the before and after, even though most of you will notice there's quite a difference in what happens throughout the system, but also what happens after. And I've mentioned, that when I used to train track and field athletes, we do give them a 2 to 3 weeks break every so often in their training regimen to help their body recoup of the harsh labor and the toxicity that comes with working out. It creates a lot of stuff inside your body, and giving them a break help them recoup and gain even more, whether it was speed, muscle mass, all that stuff. It helped them regain even more power thereafter. So even though it seems, because you're not working out for 3 weeks, oh my God, I'm losing. No, you're not. You're gaining so much. You will actually do better on your next program because your body is cleaner. It's like you're carrying 10 pounds of toxins and you're doing the P90X with it, and suddenly that's gone. You're going to kick ass, know?
Yes. It's so true. I experienced that same thing. I thought I was going to lose all this muscle. Then I remember my second workout and I'm like, I feel stronger. This is amazing.
Yes.
So we are so grateful that you made it on tonight and that you gave us all of these golden nuggets. I know I'm going to hear from my team that they're going to be excited to jump in this with me and do another round.
Can I ask you a favor?
Yeah.
Can you send me, and everybody, can you send me the link? Because I rarely see my call. It's better like that. Send me the link. And if anybody has questions regarding psychological, emotional behavior, like stuff that they're going through that they would like me to go deeper in, I have a Facebook page. I don't sell anything in it, and I do not promote any program. It's a Facebook page that accesses my desire to go deeper in these aspects of life, especially women, and with self-worth and image and all that stuff. And so it's me. It's not under the umbrella of Beachbody. It's my little thing that I enjoy doing. It's little posts, video posts, and I chat about questions that I get. So this could be an ideal way for me to see some of you guys telling me what you wish me to dive deep into, so that I get a pulse on what's needed right now. I would so appreciate that. So anyone out there that hears this and has things they would like me to get into, if that interests you, you don't even have to listen to my face, to my little whatever I'll do on it, but it will give me an honest question, honest subjects to discuss, and maybe an angle that's needed that I may not think of. That would be great. Thank you for doing that.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Thank you. Everyone's thanking you, and they loved what you had to talk about, and I'm sure you'll be seeing them messaging you through there.
Thank you so very much. Be well. It's not that difficult. No. It's just radically different, but it's not that easy. But it's one of the best things you could possibly do for yourself. So remember that when you go through it, and it's pure self-love when you go through it. So good luck, have fun, try to have fun learning about yourself. And I'm so grateful to have been invited to do this Ultimate Reset chat with you. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
You as well.